Have you ever noticed your hamster doing something strange and wondered what it meant? Maybe they suddenly freeze when you walk into the room. Maybe they sit perfectly still and stare at you from across their enclosure. Maybe they rush toward your hand one day and seem to avoid you the next. Most owners assume these behaviors are random, but the truth is far more interesting. Hamsters are constantly communicating. The problem is that they don't communicate the way dogs or cats do. They don't bark, meow, or seek attention in obvious ways. Instead, they use behavior as their language. Every pause, every stare, every movement can carry a message. And if you misunderstand those signals, you could miss important clues about how your hamster feels, whether they trust you or whether something is wrong. Today, we're going to uncover some of the most important messages your hamster may be trying to send. And make sure you stay until the end, because the final sign is one that many owners ignore until it's too late. Let's start with one of the most misunderstood hamster behaviors of all. Have you ever approached your hamster and watched them suddenly freeze? Completely motionless, not running, not hiding, just standing there like a tiny statue. Most people think this means their hamster is calm, but that's usually not the case. In the wild, hamsters survive by being cautious. They're prey animals, which means danger can come from almost anywhere. When your hamster freezes, they're gathering information. They're asking themselves a question: am I safe? Instead of reacting immediately, they stop and observe. They listen for sounds. They watch for movement. They assess the situation. If your hamster freezes for a moment and then relaxes after recognizing you, that's actually a positive sign. It means they've decided that you aren't a threat. Over time, as trust grows, many hamsters spend less time freezing because they've learned that your presence is safe. What looks like a simple pause is actually your hamster making a decision about whether they can trust the world around them. Another behavior that often confuses owners is staring. Have you ever caught your hamster watching you? Maybe they're sitting on top of a platform. Maybe they're peeking out from a tunnel. Maybe they're standing upright, completely focused on you. It can feel a little strange, but here's what's really happening. Your hamster is studying you. Most people underestimate how observant hamsters are. Even though their eyesight isn't their strongest sense, they're excellent at recognizing patterns. They learn your routines, they learn your schedule, they learn the sounds you make before feeding time. They learn when you normally enter the room. Over time, you stop being just another giant creature in their environment. You become a predictable part of their world. When your hamster watches you, they're often gathering information about someone important, someone they see every day, someone they rely on, someone they've started to understand. And speaking of understanding your hamster better, if you're enjoying this video, take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps us reach more hamster owners who genuinely want to build a stronger connection with their pets and understand what these tiny animals are really trying to say. Now let's talk about one of the strongest signs of trust your hamster can show. Have you ever opened the enclosure and watched your hamster run toward your hand instead of away from it? That may seem like a small thing, but for a prey animal, it's a huge statement. In nature, approaching a larger creature can be dangerous. Every instinct tells a hamster to stay cautious. That's why this behavior matters so much. When your hamster voluntarily comes toward you, they're communicating something powerful. They're saying, "I trust you." That trust didn't appear overnight. It was built through dozens, maybe hundreds, of positive interactions. Every gentle moment, every treat, every time you respected their boundaries. Slowly, fear is replaced with familiarity. And familiarity becomes trust. When your hamster chooses to approach you, they're not just moving toward your hand. They're moving toward someone they've learned is safe. Now let's talk about digging. Hamsters love to dig. It's one of the most natural behaviors they have. In the wild, they build extensive tunnel systems that provide safety, protection, and shelter. Digging is part of who they are. But sometimes digging becomes excessive. Maybe your hamster spends hours scratching at the corners of the enclosure. Maybe they seem determined to dig no matter what. Sometimes this behavior is telling you something important. To a hamster, a tunnel isn't just a place to sleep. It's security, it's comfort, it's survival. Excessive digging can indicate that your hamster doesn't feel fully secure in their environment. They may need deeper bedding, more hiding places, more opportunities to express natural behaviors. In a way, they're saying, "I need a place where I feel safe." Understanding that message can make a huge difference in your hamster's quality of life. Another behavior many owners love is when their hamster licks them. Few things feel more rewarding than having your hamster gently lick your hand. Most people immediately assume it's affection. And sometimes it is. But there's more happening than most realize. Hamsters experience the world through scent and taste. Licking is one way they investigate their environment. They're gathering information. They're learning about you. They're becoming familiar with your scent and presence. When a hamster repeatedly licks your hand while remaining relaxed, they're choosing interaction instead of avoidance. They're showing curiosity instead of fear. For a naturally cautious animal, that's a meaningful sign. It may seem small, but it's one of the many ways your hamster communicates. Comfort and trust. Here's something even more fascinating. Your hamster may actually be changing their routine because of you. Have you ever noticed them waking up around the same time each day? Appearing just before feeding time? Coming out of their hideout shortly before you usually enter the room? That's often not a coincidence. Hamsters are excellent observers. They learn patterns quickly. Over time, they begin recognizing your habits and adjusting their behavior accordingly. They learn when food arrives. They learn when interaction happens. They learn when their favorite human is likely to appear. Think about that for a moment. Your hamster's daily rhythm starts adapting to your presence. Not because they have to, but because you've become an important part of their environment. They've learned your routine, and they've chosen to make you part of theirs. But now, we need to talk about the most important signal of all. What happens when your hamster suddenly stops doing something they always used to do? Maybe they no longer greet you when you approach. Maybe they stop exploring. Maybe they become unusually withdrawn. This is something every hamster owner needs to pay attention to. Hamsters are creatures of habit. When a major behavior changes suddenly, they're often trying to communicate that something is wrong. Sometimes the reason is physical. Pain, illness, discomfort. Sometimes it's environmental. A new pet, a new smell, a change in routine. And sometimes it's emotional. A frightening experience, a stressful event, something that made them feel less secure. The most attentive owners don't just notice what their hamster does. They notice what their hamster stops doing. Because sometimes the absence of a behavior is the strongest message of all. The truth is that your hamster has been communicating with you every single day. Through their habits, their routines, their choices, and even their silence. The more you learn to understand those signals, the stronger your bond becomes. Because caring for a hamster isn't just about providing food, water, and shelter. It's about learning a language that most people never realize exists. And once you start paying attention, you'll discover that your hamster has been trying to tell you important things all along.